Hi there. My name is Shannon McPhee, and I lead Yoga Nidra guided meditation on my YouTube channel called Supernova Nidra. I recently did a 10-day Vipassana meditation course, and during that sit, I had a lot of time to think about why meditation is so hard. It was really interesting. I have a regular meditation practice, but when I got there, I didn't feel like I'd ever meditated a day in my life before, which was very interesting to breathe through. But I also thought a lot about what makes meditation so challenging and the fact that a lot of this information isn't really shared with us. So I would love to share these details with you here, and hopefully we can give ourselves all a little bit more space to breathe, literally, and work on being at peace with where we are with meditation day to day. So interestingly enough, meditation is actually the fastest growing health trend in the United States right now. It's on par with yoga. So yoga is practiced by about 11% of Americans, and meditation last year jumped up to match that number. Probably there are some people who do both meditation and yoga, and maybe there are some people who just meditate. It can be done by just about anybody, anywhere, regardless of your physical fitness. So it's a really powerful way to create a lot more calmness in our lives. But the interesting thing is, we tend to think we're a little bit terrible at it. Meditation is a totally different practice and totally a different modality from the way we tend to operate and work through our day-to-day lives. So we sit down and we expect everything's just gonna be calm and zen right away, and then we get frustrated, and then maybe we don't try it again. So that's really unfortunate. Our minds have been trained for a long time to move from thought to thought to thought, to be really active, to always be working. So if we're looking to create a little bit more space and calmness, it's not necessarily very helpful to be really cruel to ourselves and speak to ourselves in ways that we would never speak to someone else or a friend that we want to encourage when they're working on trying something new. It's important to remember that training takes time. We went to school for years to teach ourselves to be occupying our minds all the time, to always be thinking, to always be working. So if we sit down and get frustrated the first time we try and meditate for a minute or even 5 minutes, that's not really going to be very helpful in unlocking the patterns that we've literally worn into our brains as we connect all of our brain cells to each other. And we've got all these pathways in there, and it's going to take a minute. So try and be a little kinder to our minds, and it'll help a lot. The interesting thing is that there's some science behind why it's so interesting and difficult sometimes to move from being active in our minds to being really calm. We've got different brainwave states. We have a lot of electricity running through our bodies, and our brains run at different frequencies depending on what's going on. So right now, you and I are probably operating in a brainwave state called beta. That's what happens when our minds are active, we're learning new things, we're taking in information, we're interacting with others, we're driving our cars, hopefully, and beta keeps us safe. There's a lot happening, there's a lot of activity, and it's something that's integral and critical to our lives, but the problem is that we've all become a little overstimulated and chronically operate in beta today. We have so many electronics coming at us that we don't have a lot of space for the other brainwave states that are essential to our healing and feeling calm, like alpha. Alpha gets a little slower, as you can see here. Our brain waves start to elongate, get a little softer, a little deeper, and alpha is this state that we enter when we go into a light meditation. Beta is really energized and active. Alpha gets a little calmer. Maybe you experience alpha as you're starting to fall asleep, or if you can take a little bit of a rest with your eyes closed on the sofa or in a chair. And it's a lot less active, as you can see. After we move from alpha, we get into theta. In theta, our brain slows down and our brain waves get even more elongated. And interestingly enough, this is the brainwave state in which we dream. So there's a lot of creativity happening. Even though our brainwaves are calm and long, we're connecting different neurons and different things are happening all along the way. After theta, we dip into delta, and this is our state of deep, restorative, and restful sleep. In delta, our bodies get the space that they need to heal us. When we're really active in beta, we're spending lots of energy on our brain. But when we move into delta, our brain gives up some of that energy so that our bodies can take care of repairing and healing us. That's why we need to sleep, so that our brains can calm down and our bodies can repair what needs a little bit of love and attention. The interesting thing is, if we don't get into delta, say there are people who have insomnia or sleep problems, sleep apnea, or maybe they're just really anxious, our bodies don't get the space to repair themselves, and that can be really detrimental to our health. So if you've ever had a restless night and woke up feeling terrible, maybe you didn't get any time in delta, and therefore things didn't really get a chance to heal. Recently, scientists have also discovered a brainwave state called gamma, and if you've ever created any art, listened to, or made music, if you've ever danced and just felt amazing, that's the experience of gamma. It's also been described as being in a state of flow. So when we're really focused on something we're passionate about and we kind of lose touch with the rest of reality, that's gamma. So in meditation, we tend not to necessarily get into gamma. I'll leave that for maybe someone's advanced practice, and they can speak about it far better than I'm sure. But we do tend to work from beta, at least into alpha with traditional meditation. With yoga nidra guided meditation, sometimes we end up moving into delta, sleeping either for real or physically feeling like we're sleeping while our minds stay aware. So it's a really interesting way to develop more comfort and awareness of moving through these different brainwave states. But remember that training our minds take time. Sometimes in nidra practice, people fall asleep or tend to sound like they're sleeping. That's because their bodies really need that time to repair. And that's okay. Our bodies need to heal. And it's a precious gift if we can give our bodies the space to do its work in taking care of us. But with some regular practice, we start to develop the ability to move through these different brainwave states and still stay aware. One thing you might have heard about in relation to meditation is our monkey mind. So this means that our mind tends to hop all over the place from one idea to the next, one thing that we should do and one thing that we should be angry about for someone doing to us, or maybe 20 things we need to take care of, or maybe we feel proud about something we did yesterday. That's our monkey mind hopping from branch to branch, tree to tree, and it's a good analogy, but it doesn't really give us a lot to work with in building patience in developing a meditation practice. So if you start to sit down and you find you've got a really busy beta monkey mind, try transforming the way you think about it into thinking about adorable little playful puppies. I've got some dogs at home, and they've helped me really hone in on this. When I sit down to meditate, they're really excited that I'm there, and they bounce all over the place, just like my mind does. But if I just sit with it and breathe through the busyness, both the puppies and my mind eventually calm down. They lie down, they stretch, maybe they take a little nap, and with regular practice, our minds tend to do the same as they move from all of that action in beta into that slower, deeper practice and presence that we experience in alpha. So next time your mind's bouncing, remember the playful puppies and give them a minute. They'll calm down. And so will our minds. So it can feel really good when we move from all that action into more calm. But then probably some kind of thought will pop in there, bring you back up into beta. Breathe through it again. Just let everything calm in its own good time. We're not going to force it or fix it, but with a little patience, everything will come back to a little bit more calm again. So there are many different types of traditional meditation practice. A really common one is breath awareness meditation. We focus on our inhale and our exhale. I'll upload a video on that to get you started with just a 5-minute meditation soon. But there are many other practices of traditional meditation in which we just work on having a single point of focus. For example, mantra meditation, maybe having a phrase or a syllable that you repeat over and over again in your mind, whether it makes sense or doesn't make sense, is a common meditation practice. There are other practices. People sometimes visualize a candle or even look at a candle burning. I read about a new practice in the Shambhala tradition where they meditate on emptiness rather than the breath. So if one technique doesn't quite work for you, I'd encourage you to try out another, maybe not every day, but maybe once a week, switch it up until you find something that really is going to help you connect with finding some calm and some space within yourself. I practice regular breath awareness and vipassana meditation. And I also practice and teach yoga nidra. The reason I practice nidra is that it's guided. So there's a lot of opportunity to connect not only with calm and move through the brainwave states of beta, alpha, theta, maybe delta. There's also a lot of opportunity to tune into our own truth. Nidra, being guided, brings us through different states of our human experience. They can be really powerful and really healing. And the fact that maybe we dip into delta and come back enables our bodies to heal as well as our minds. So I think that nidra and regular meditation are quite complementary. And through practicing nidra and staying aware, I've learned to become more aware of my brainwave states and kind of sit through them as they're changing. Nidra does mean sleep, so as I've mentioned, you might fall asleep sometimes as you practice. That's okay. Sometimes our bodies need rest most of all, and it's really a great gift to give it that. With regular practice, though, you can move into calmer states and let your body rest while your mind stays aware, and that translates over really nicely into a regular meditation practice of breath awareness or vipassana as well. If you'd like to practice yoga nidra, I have a whole lot of free opportunities to do so on my YouTube channel called Supernova Nidra. You can go and find us on YouTube, and it would be amazing to have you subscribe to grow our community. And if you want to help this work reach others, I've also got a Patreon page. I'm at Patreon/Shannon McPhee. You can find me there as well, and I'd be really grateful for your support so that we can help this practice grow and serve and reach others. There are other videos on my YouTube channel about what nidra is if you want to learn more about the practice, and also about your sankalpa. I guide how to set one in every nidra practice, but if you're curious about this superpower, I'd encourage you to go and tune into that video as well so that you can dial yours in with a little extra help. In any case, I'd like to offer you my super thanks for tuning in, hopefully to yourself and definitely to this video. Meditation is a really powerful practice, and there's a reason that it's growing by leaps and bounds in our culture. So I hope that you find a practice that's going to work for you to help you create a little bit more calm and connection in your own life. Namaste.